to the members aura reading. If the music's a little bit loud, it's probably better. So let me just get the chat. There we are. Okay, so hello and welcome. I probably should make a list as well. So, okay, so we'll just go with the order of the chat, and then of course who's in as and when, as always. So yeah, thank you for joining me. I know I did have to push it back just a little bit there. So we have Miss Venus, Marianne, and to have your picture already. So guys, if you're new to aura reading, it's always good practice to send a it's always a good practice to send a picture, but it's not completely necessary. If I've been reading you for a while, I should be able to do it just by connecting to your energy how I would any other reading. Okay, so you can tap into people's auras even if they are even if you're not seeing them or seeing a picture. You can tap into their energy in the same way that you would when doing a reading, and you can do it like that. So don't worry if you don't have a picture, but if you are going to send a picture, always remember that it should be a very recent picture. So auras change by spiritual and emotional changes mostly, and so so if you send a picture of like, oh, I looked really nice in this photograph but it was last year, then I'm going to be reading the aura from last year, from when you sent, from when the picture was taken. So if you do want to go for the photograph option and send a photograph, just make sure it's a recent photograph. You can take a selfie right now. It doesn't get shown on stream. It doesn't have to be perfect. But yeah, the more recent is better. But yeah, most members anyway, I've read for you plenty of times. I can do it without the photograph, so don't worry. But yeah, that's just to note about auras. So we have Miss Venus, Marianne, Guided by Universe, and Jasmine, and that's all we have at the moment. And I will make a note for Pooja, who requests a timestamp for 8 p.m. GMT is my most common time that I do streams at, and it's not great for Indian time zones. So if there is time, of course I will do Pooja's timestamp. If there is not time, we'll probably be able to do another one of these, because we have about 2 hours, and about 2 hours, and aura readings can be any, it's kind of difficult to say how long it might take. If it's very quiet, I'm sure we'll be done before that, but yeah, they can be very busy, I meant to say, because when we don't have them in a while, they are quite a popular stream, so we could get quite a few people rolling in as the time goes by. But yeah, it just depends. So if it does get really busy and we don't get through everyone, with it being members, there's 23 members, we generally won't get through that many in 2 hours. We wouldn't get, if every single member came in, we would not be able to do them all. So we might do another stream if not everybody who wants one gets one this stream. So we're it's very possible there'll be 2 of these streams if enough members want one. So yeah, so Sid, I just added you as well. So I believe Miss Venus says that she will be back. So let's see, is Marianne present? Thank you, Super Sucker from Guided by Universe. Thank you very much. That's very sweet. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. So it will be so the list is Miss Venus, Marianne, Guided by Universe, Jasmine, Sid, and Pooja, kind of lingering as a timestamp one if there's time for that. But generally, Miss Venus, Marianne, Guided by Universe, and Jasmine and Sid. So we should definitely get through those at least anyway. Yeah, we'll definitely get through those ones. So, but yeah, if Miss Venus is away for a moment, we will do Marianne. So we'll begin with Marianne. So, yeah, and you did, I know that you sent me your photograph. So I do appreciate that. So, I still haven't printed people. I don't have a printer anymore. So my printer broke. I don't have a printer anymore. I always just do the silhouette of the people. So this is Marianne's silhouette. I'm pretty sure that's not what Marianne looks like, but we'll make do with that. So, oh, Kira, we have Kira. So yes, I will add you to the list. So Kira, you're quite early. There's only, you're the 6th person, so I'm pretty sure you will get one. I'm pretty sure you will get one in the time. So yeah, you're very, very welcome. So Marianne, oh, it's very hot. It's very hot in here. So Marianne, so let me get the picture up and I'll just have a little look at that since you sent one. Although I do feel, yeah, I think it's like a photograph of Marianne. It looks just like you. So I'll just get Marianne's photograph up to focus on that. Feel quite connected to Marianne. I don't think I need the photograph, but it's always nice to use it when it's been sent. Okay. Generally, Generally, an aura reading is done from photographs, but like I said, if I'm reading you regularly and I'm connected with your energy, I don't need it. I would say, like, you know, if you've only been on like 1 or 2 streams, I probably would request that. I'd probably say, you know, I don't think I've read for you enough times. Please send a photograph. But I don't think there's anybody in here who I would need a photograph from. I think that I will be able to do everybody in here without a photograph. But yeah, generally aura, if someone, I mean, I suppose everyone's different, I'm sure. But not everybody works like that, but generally, yeah, generally you would use a photograph. Because that's, people kind of use their visual sight to see it. So some people might even go a bit further and they might say a photograph of yourself on a completely blank background, like a white background or just, you know, a very pale colour background, because it's easier usually for people to visualise the aura by actually looking at the picture and against a like blank background. and it's easiest to see the colours that way. So that's kind of, if you're beginning with aura reading, if you want to learn aura reading, that's generally how you will learn to read it in the beginning. Is you will stand someone against like a white background, or, you know, very pale coloured background, and you will kind of squint your eyes in funny ways and try to engage your spiritual senses, and yeah, go by what you see, by what you're actually visually seeing. But when you tune yourself a little bit more, you don't generally need to do that, and you can do it with energies and yeah, energies. Energies. So oh, and I actually remember this just before we started the stream. I remember that I keep saying I need new pens, so I did order some, but I didn't. My metallic one is gone, and I actually didn't order metallic, so I'll have to do that. I'll have to order another metallic one. First we had gold and silver, then we only had silver, and that looks like we don't have any metallic. So I will just be makeshift for the metallic, and I will just kind of draw it on. And make sure I'm letting you know where it's metallic. So yeah. So a general aura, usually people have 2 to 3 prominent colours in that aura. So when you go for an aura reading, sometimes there will be maybe, sometimes with those aura photography, where you put your hand on it and they like sense you, that might sometimes only show your two most prominent colours, or something like that. Ideally, if you were like super, you know, progressed on your path in all aspects, your aura is probably going to be rainbow with metallic colours as well. But generally people have about 2 to 3 colours. It's very normal to only have 2 or 3 colours. It's not necessarily like the less colours the worse. It's not like that. Like if you have an aura reading one week and your aura is totally purple or totally just one colour, it's not a bad thing either. Like I said, auras change with spiritual and emotional changes. If your aura is super prominent in one colour, it might be that phase, that period of your life that might just be normal. It might just be normal that you're kind of really emanating that specific energy at the moment. But when you're super balanced in all aspects and you're emanating every like kind of positive energy, you generally will have quite a rainbow aura, with some metallic in there. But it is quite rare. It is pretty rare. You can have murky colours in the aura, and you can have blockages in the aura as well, and they can point to certain things as well. So it'd be good if you have had a aura reading before to let me know if you notice any differences, especially if they're positive, because sometimes I'll pick up little murky bits, little blocks, and then the next week you might, or not next week, the next month when we do the next one, you might not have that. So it's always nice to see. That's why I try to do aura readings every 2 months, so you can kind of see your progress or see your change. It might not necessarily be progress, it might just be change. If you didn't have any murkiness, it's just progress. It's just change. If you did have murkiness, there could be some progress. The murkiness could go. But we don't have any examples of murkiness in the first aura, and we might not with you guys, we might not with this group, we might not have any examples of that, but Kieran, yeah, so Kieran, I should be fine to connect with you without a picture, but you are very welcome to send one if you wish to. This is I will put you, are you meaning like you might need a timestamp? Is that what you mean by it's 1 AM, like you're going to sleep soon? Because I'll put you, we also have Pooja, who may have a timestamp if there's time. So I'll put you on here. But if you might need a timestamp, there will be another stream. We only have 6 people. So far, we only have 6 people who don't need timestamps. So if you and Pooja both need timestamps, it's very possible they will be done this week, on this one. but we'll just have to see. But yeah, if you want a timestamp, let's just leave that open, so you can either have a timestamp if there's time, or if not, you and Pooja will be prioritised on the next one. So no examples of murkiness or any blocks in the aura for this one, so that's really nice for Marianne. But we do have a three prominent aura colours, or well, 2 prominent, 1 lesser prominent. So let's look over and see what we're getting here. So yes, so Kieran, I've put you on the list for timestamp. If some other people jump in, you and Pooja may be prioritised for the next one. But if it stays this quiet, I'm sure you and Pooja will be done on this one. So we'll just see how it goes. So, so our main colour rally, I feel like with Marianne, although purple and yellow are a little bit balanced here. Oh, I don't know about the... It's always the thing with the member stream is the lighting. Let me just turn it down a little bit, see if you can see this a bit better. There we are, that's a lot better. So, yeah, so the most prominent colours are the purple and the yellow this time. So I feel like you had purple last time, but I'm not sure how much yellow you had. I think maybe you had a bit of indigo last time, but I don't remember every single one, so that's maybe just me just thinking that. But we have purple, so she has some purple in there, she has pink, and she has yellow. So the first thing we'll look at is the purple. It's the most central points, and it's very prominent. So purple is all about those spiritual abilities. It's very much about someone who's, there's a lot of spiritual connection, there's a lot of empathy sometimes. There can be like your spiritual gifts heightening. There can be your purple. Let me try not to get confused with purple and indigo. I always confuse them. Purple is the main one that's kind of linked to the spiritual senses. It is a lot more of a spiritual kind of based colour. So although it does vary from the metallic, which we'll talk about in a moment, it's more about your own spiritual abilities and gifts. So it can be very intuitive. If you have a lot of purple in your aura, it might mean that you are a light worker yourself, in terms of it's a very important part of your life path. Like you might even go down the road of like mediumship or tarot or something like that as kind of a job. You know, because even if you don't have, so not having purple in the aura doesn't mean that you're not spiritual, but having a lot of purple in the aura tends to can sometimes push us along that path. I remember my aura reading before I rarely got onto this path, in terms of doing it for other people, and it was very predominantly purple all the time with a little bit of blue in there. And as I kind of balanced myself a little bit more and worked on things a bit more, even though I was fully committing to spiritual things as a life path, like working and everything like that, the purple still lessened because I wasn't being kind of guided to that, and I wasn't fully emanating that energy because I was following that path. So I started to, you know, have a bit more other energies opening up. But yeah, so strong intuition, deep thinkers, so people with a lot of purple in their aura, they're very often deep thinkers. So it doesn't necessarily always mean that they go down a spiritual path as being deep thinkers. It can sometimes mean that they get a bit more interested in philosophy or psychology as well. So they're usually very interested in the inner workings of things and how things really work, which is why it generally does link to spirituality as well. So remember that the colour of the aura, like the chakra, sorry, the colour of the chakra that links to the colour of the aura, it isn't always exact. So having yellow in the aura doesn't link exactly to what the solar plexus represents, so do bear that in mind. But with the purple, it kind of does a little bit. But the deep thinking energy of a purple aura person can sometimes mean that they're more into philosophy or psychology, or rarely get delving deep into how certain things work, that aren't always on the spiritual path. So they're not always on the spiritual path, but we have to look at the colours as a whole as well. So Marianne also has yellow and she also has metallic, and when you pair those two with purple, it really does tell a story about that. It's probably more the spiritual side that she's really into than philosophy or psychology. Not meaning she can't be into those things as well, but yeah, it does lean more to spirituality when we have these other two colours with it as well. So generally, like you could do an aura reading for someone who's a complete skeptic, but maybe they're on that path of, like I said, psychology or philosophy, and then they still have some purple in their aura, even though they're completely skeptical about spirituality. So it can happen like that. It doesn't necessarily always mean spirituality, but metallic is very closely linked to spirituality. So generally, I would say with Marianne's, it probably is more spirituality. And the pink, so the pink colour in the aura, this is the love energy. So pink and green are both love energy colours. So green as is similar with the heart chakra, but pink as is just generally the love vibration, the love energy. And although pink and green both are love energy, they both have slightly different meanings in them. So you can see a pink auraed person to be very generous, very loving, very empathetic, very kind. They may, be very, very generous. Like, they may always put others before themselves. But generally, their love tends to be a little bit more based on their close friends and family. It doesn't mean that they're not, loving of the whole planet or anything, or they're not, very caring and kind to strangers. It doesn't mean that, but it just means that their love's a bit more focused on maybe their romantic path or their friends, their family. They're probably just more focused. Maybe they have like a more tight knit group. Maybe they're not super social. Maybe they just have like kind of a small friends group or something like that. And pink also, it's very nurturing. It's a very nurturing energy. And when it comes to the romantic connection specifically, this pink energy talks more about them ending up in a long-term committed relationship. So if you do see throughout the stream, some people having green and some people having pink, you may feel like they're a bit similar, but there are some differences in the type of love that's coming forward, or the way they're expressing that love that's coming forward. So aura reading's interesting because it is a lot more like reading people's personalities or people's current kind of traits, current kind of energy, as what they're currently like now. It's like a present reading of what people are currently like. There isn't too many things in an aura that give a solid future prediction. Like if we were looking at the pink, we do get that she's very likely to end up in a long-term committed relationship. If she isn't already in it, she's very likely to end up in one. But not many of the colours will give a future outlook like that. They're more linked to current, like what their actual personality is like. But the yellow is another interesting one, because the yellow is another colour that does give a bit of a future outlook. So the future outlook in yellow is to say that this person's very likely to have a spiritual awakening. And people who have already had spiritual awakenings, already had enlightenment, they can still have yellow in their aura. They can still have yellow, but it's when you think about awakenings and spiritual activations and things like that, they don't just happen once. It's not kind of like you meditate, you have one complete awakening and then you're done. It goes in levels, there's different awakenings you can have at different times, different phases, different things. and it's very likely, even if she's already had a spiritual awakening, that she will still continue to progress and have activations spiritually in some way. So the yellow is really interesting with that, the way it gives that insight. But there's also other things in the yellow. There is intelligence in yellow. There is, and it can be intelligence like people who are studying or in any kind of educational training can often have a lot of yellow. A lot of the times it's murky yellow because they're stressed about it, but they can have a lot of yellow. But it can just be someone who loves to learn the lessons of life. They don't have to be an actual education, like a, like an institutionalized kind of learning facility, like, a college or something like that. They can be someone who just likes to learn from books, or self-teach themselves instruments, or learn from videos online, or just learn lessons of life from life experiences. It doesn't necessarily have to be that they are in school, but they generally are quite intelligent or like to seek learning. And they can also be, though, very tapped into their inner child. So they might not be, just because they're intelligent doesn't mean they're super serious all the time. They might be very childlike at times, in a positive way, like tapping into their inner child, very playful, very, light-hearted, very humorous maybe they like to have a bit of a laugh and things like that. So they're the three main colours in the aura there, but she does have little flecks of metallic, which is not super common. So if you attend my streams, you might think that metallic is a common colour for an aura, but actually it's not that common. It's just that a lot of people here are rarely on their spiritual path, they're rarely quite focused on their spiritual path, a lot of them. So metallic usually links to being, so it can be a few different things. It can be spiritual protection. So sometimes I pick up specific guides around people when I see metallic. Sometimes it can be just a general sense of spiritual abundance. So if they're rarely on their spiritual path, they might be, again, awakening it, like the purple and the yellow have kind of hinted to with Marianne. But can also be as well, it can link to the possibility of material abundance. So metallic can be another colour. I say metallic as a colour. It can be gold or silver. It is silver in Marianne's, but of course I had to do it with the pen this time because I lost my metallic pens. But it is silver. So if I see metallic in your aura, I will let you know which colour, which metallic colour it is. But yeah. So there can be a possibility of material abundance at some point in the life path. So if Marianne was really super focused on making money or getting money in some way, it may be a positive omen that she could achieve material abundance at some point. So it's always nice to have metallic in the aura. We all want material abundance. We all want money. But I do feel specifically spiritual protection coming through a lot with Marianne's metallic there. So just to note, do feel very spiritual protection coming through with that one. So sorry, I just noticed that I didn't know Kieran wasn't a member, so or does she just have to update redo it just then? So that's Marianne. And as always, if you do want a picture of your aura sent to you, feel free to message me off stream and I will send the picture to you. And I'll also link my article as well. So if you forget what I say on stream, you will have the article that I wrote the article on my website, and it goes through all the colours and what the colours mean and all of that. So you're very welcome to also request that. So there's Marianne. So our next one is we don't have Miss Venus back yet. So I think our next one is going to be Guided by Universe, who has sent a photograph, so that's amazing. We'll have a look at that. But let me just see what Marianne is saying here. Spiritual gifts are awakening more, and you're a deep thinker. Yeah, so everything is resonating there. Really nice being married for a very long time. Very nice, very lovely, and an awakening. I don't know if you told me about the near-death experience. Maybe you did, but I'm always very interested in those. I know they can be touchy subjects for people who've experienced them because it can be traumatic to experience, of course. But I do find them quite interesting. You know, when you watch the documentaries of them. Really, really interesting. Okay, so I do have your picture, Guided by Universe. So I will also do a very, very bad silhouette for you as well. Oh, this looks a little bit better than Marianne's, or a little bit more symmetrical. Still a bit funny looking, but a bit more symmetrical. Oh no, I can't see it. At least you'll be able to see the colour, that's the main thing. So let me just have a little look at your... Is this an old picture though? Is this picture old? Or like how old is the picture? I feel like this is not recent. Yeah, I did think, Marianne, I would have remembered that if you'd mentioned that, so... Great, but yeah, really interesting. Yeah, so if I was to do the aura reading based on the picture, it would be wrong because it seems like it's like 2 years old or something. So it would be reading the aura from when you had reading the aura from back then. So I will just focus on your energy as I've read for you before and things like that. I will just focus on it. Thank you, Super Sticker. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I will be I'll be reading. So if you send an old photograph, I'll be doing the aura from back then. So I will focus on your energy as just generally as I focus on the energy in a reading, like as I was in a reading, and we will do it like that because, yeah, if we do a photograph, if we focus on the energy. If I focus on the photograph from a long time ago, I'll be picking up on your aura from a long time ago, and you might have changed a lot since then, in some ways. So yeah, let me take a moment to just focus. I don't think I haven't done an aura reading for you yet, but I do feel connected to you, so I will just take a moment. One moment. These pens just smudged a little bit. That's okay. Okay, so this is quite a nice one as well. We do have 4 colours here as well. So starting off quite nicely with you guys having 4 colours in the aura is definitely more than the average person. So that's really nice, and no murky energy yet, so that's really nice as well. So here we are. Oh. We still have the green screen effect on a little bit here, so it's not, you can't, oh, that looks a bit better. So in the center we have yellow, so I do apologize with these streams. I can repeat myself a bit because of course there's only 7 colors. A lot of you guys are going to have repeating colors. But we only have 1 repeating colour here, so it's not too bad. So we have the yellow. So yellow in the centre there. So like I was saying with Marianne, the yellow in the centre, there are a few different nice traits for that. So we have someone who's very connected to their inner child. They can be very light-hearted, very playful. You know, sometimes they can bring out the more light-hearted and playful side in other people as well. They can be quite funny, like humorous themselves, or they can really love, you know, connecting with people who are. So you might like people who don't feel like you don't feel like you have to be too serious around or anything like that. Or you don't feel like, or people who aren't too serious themselves as well. You know, people who can laugh at themselves a little bit, you know. But also that intelligence is still there, so yeah, you might be kind of playful and jokey a little bit, but there's still that intelligence there, or that love to learn. So you might be studying, or you might be training for a job, or you might just love to read, learn things from reading, documentaries, videos, teaching yourself things like an instrument or languages or anything like that. You could be, there's a possibility of spiritual awakening with yellow as well. So possibility of spiritual awakening. Things that's most to cover on yellow. Yeah, light-hearted, playful, connection to inner child. A lot of the time as well, when people, if you're really into spiritual work and you're currently doing inner child healing, yellow can come up a lot as well. If you're really focusing on the inner child in some way, even if even if you have been through a lot or things have been tough, you can still have the yellow if you've been kind of working on the inner child and everything like that as well. But yeah, there's some intelligence, learning, and possibility for spiritual awakening. So if you don't feel like you've had a spiritual awakening yet, or you feel like maybe there's a lot more to come on the spiritual path, there's definitely a possibility. It's 100% a possibility on that path to just go further up and up those spiritual levels, So that's really nice for the yellow. But then we have the orange. So orange is, I find on stream, orange is a bit of a kind of uncommon one that comes up. But orange is really nice. Orange is, it's relationship related and also creativity related. So it does link in a little bit with the chakra colour of orange, the sacral chakra. It does link in a little bit more with that. It tends to say it's more broad on the relationship side, where it's not directly completely linked to romantic relationships. It's more about being a very good kind of friend in general. Like you might make friends very easily, or you might not necessarily that you make friends very easily. You can still have kind of more introvert people who have orange in their aura, but they will be the ones who keep friends very easily. So maybe your social cycle is small. Maybe if you only had the same 3 friends since you were a child or something like that, but you keep friends very easily. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're out there, socializing constantly, but the friends you do make, when you do make them, you keep them very closely. And you're very good at keeping them. So you're either very good at making friends or very good at keeping them, or both. You might, maybe you're both. But a really nice relationship, like wider relationship, not just romantic relationship, energy with the orange colour in the aura. But there's still that creative side, very similar to the sacral chakra, which is the orange one. There is still that creative energy. So this person might be very creative, or might be very into creative things. So maybe you don't make art yourself or make music yourself or anything like that, but you might be someone who rarely appreciates it. And I don't mean like, I like music. I listen to a variety of different types of music. I have, I don't have a specific genre I like. I like all genres, a little bit of everything. But I definitely don't see myself as into music as a lot of people, I'm not like really, I don't know, like some people are really technical into it. They're really, they feel like it's their life. Like they couldn't go like a few months without going to see like a gig or live music, or they can't do like a journey, like a walk, without listening to music. I never have headphones in when I'm traveling, or I'm much more likely to be listening to a podcast than music, so not that I don't like music, I think everybody does, but these people might appreciate art, or some art, a little bit more, than the average person. So there might be someone who has to have artwork hung around their home, maybe they don't like the minimal style, it has to be something quirky and arty and nice and everything like that. But it might just generally be they're very creative themselves, but it could just be that really intense kind of appreciation of art as well. So very creative or creative loving kind of person, and very good with relationships in some way, even if that's just really keeping those close friends close. Very good with relationships. And then we move into the green, where we are seeing a little bit still on relationships, but we do begin to lean more into the romantic relationship as we go into the green colour, because it's again, so where we're talking about the pink and the green both being the love energies in the aura, whereas the pink in Marianne's was much more about that close love, the romantic partners, the close friends and family. The green love, it's much more broad. This person is generous and empathetic. You know, she probably is an empath. She probably, as an empath, very generous, probably just kind, giving, all those things. But it's even broader. It's not to say that, you know, she's focusing on friends, family and romantic partner. Maybe she's even focusing on plants, animals, the earth. You know, maybe she rarely focuses on some aspect of something like that. So, you know, someone who, I don't know, rescues animals or rarely cares about the environment to the point of doing a bit more than the average person. You know, she doesn't just throw a few cans into the recycling. She might do a bit more than that. Maybe the work path goes down working for a, you know, eco-friendly company or something like that. You know, there could be someone even who goes and gives to the homeless on a regular basis, things like that. So they're caring much more about the wider of society, the wider of like earth, plants, animals, people. It's not just pinpointed to those really close connections. It's even more broad. But there still is a future kind of prediction with the green, the same as there is with pink. So with the green, the future prediction, it's not that she will be in a long-term committed relationship like the pink. Not to say that she won't be, but it's just that's not the prediction. The prediction is that she will end up with someone who complements her very well. So I feel like with the green, it's much more that soulmate energy, you know. If someone who often has green in their chakra, I feel like it's more soulmate energy than twin flame. This person's more likely to end up with soulmate than twin flame, in my opinion, because it's someone who complements them very well, as opposed to someone who there's going to be like ups and downs of lessons with, you know. And all relationships have ups and downs of lessons, but I feel like the pink sometimes is a little bit more maybe twin flame-ish than the green. I feel like the green is a little bit more, it's probably going to be a bit smoother. You're going to really bounce off each other very well, not in a very rocky back and forward kind of way. So yeah, my prediction would maybe be soulmate or someone like that, but you know, we can't predict too much with an aura. Like I said, it is more about pointing out her current personality traits and personality. So but then we go to indigo. So we have a new one. New colour again here. It's not difficult to have a new colour with only the second person, but we have indigo around the outside. So indigo is a really nice colour. It does come up quite regularly in these readings because it's still a kind of spiritual colour in a way. You know, it's or a colour found in the, I mean, they're all spiritual, but I mean a colour often found in the more spiritual type of people's energies, because although purple is kind of more intuitive and spiritual gifts, the indigo still has a lot of I'd say kind of like intuitive elements to it, because someone with indigo in their aura is very good at telling truth from lies. So this person, if you come for, so this is why we do aura readings every 2 months as well, is so you can kind of see, if you always come for an aura reading every time I have one, and you can kind of see like which colours do I regularly have and which colours were only there for like a month, for the 2-month period. Maybe she'll come back and next time she'll only have 2 of these colours, and then the next week those 2 colours show up again. You know, the best thing with aura is to see which colours are always staying, always remaining, because it goes to show more about not just your spiritual and emotional changes at that time, but what is in your true personality kind of blueprint in a way. Like, who are you truly as a person throughout your whole life, and what are the elements of you that change and flow. And when someone has the indigo in their aura consistently, they do tend to be very good at telling the truth from lies. They really do tend to be very good. So they're not very likely to be scammed or to be taken for a ride or to be, you know, you're not very likely to get one over on this person for a very long time. Their intuition might not be super in tune with you know, most things, but when someone is lying to them or not, it's very in tune with that. It's very in tune with that. So they're not very likely to be deceived, and when they are, they're more likely to realize it quicker. So they do tend to be lied to less than the average person, because they can kind of detect it very quickly and make sure they protect themselves from that situation. So yeah, very good at telling truth from lies, very discerning is a very positive trait of the indigo. But also there are other things about the indigo person as well, like they are very adventurous, so adventurous people. So sometimes the people with indigo can have wanderlust, so they can always want to go to new places and visit new parts of the earth. They might want to go fully traveling, you know. Going on a few holidays a year might not cut it for them. They might want to do a proper traveling, you know. Very adventurous people. Even, you know, sometimes it's not as, that adventurous side isn't as grand as traveling, but they're usually not very boring people. So even if they have their comfort zones and they're not super into traveling, they're still adventurous. So they tend to not be, let's say, someone who goes to the same restaurant every week and orders the same thing. You know, even if they do have a favourite restaurant, they're probably going to be trying new things every time. Or they're more likely to probably want to try the new things, the new places. And they're kind of really up for that. So they're really up for trying new things. So yeah, there's still an adventurous side, even if it's a bit smaller than travelling. There is an adventurous side to this person. So yes, that was guided by universe. So let's just see if we have anything here. Let's see. I'm definitely funny. Good. Intelligence. Introvert and a good friend. Yeah. So that still resonates with. Yeah. So sorry, I would just go over the list here. So we have Miss Venus is next because Miss Venus is back. So she was first, so she will now be next. So now the list is Miss Venus, Jasmine, Sid, Kida, Kieran. But of course, if anyone jumps out, they will be skipped over until they get back. So if someone jumps out, you may be sooner. But generally, it will be Miss Venus, Jasmine, Sid, Kida, Kieran. Let's see. So music is my life, I think you said. So yeah, that does make sense. Maya, hello, welcome. Maya, shall I put you on the list? I'll put you on the list. So, we do have over eight now, so we might not get to everyone. Oh my gosh, it's been an hour already and I've only done 2. I'm definitely going to have to set another stream. I will do it sooner than I said. Because I only have an hour and 10 minutes left. So anyone, guys, if I don't make it to you, I will do this stream tomorrow at the same time. I can't believe it's been 55 minutes and I've only done 2 people. Obviously, just taking way too much of my time, but that's okay. So, yeah, I was going to do a stream tomorrow anyway. I was just maybe going to do something different. So we'll just do anyone we don't get to on this stream. We'll do tomorrow. So music is my life. I love plants and animals. So true. Care about Mother Earth. Today I gave food to a homeless man. So yeah, that makes perfect sense with it's still that really strong loving energy, but you probably focus it very evenly to the people you rarely care about, like your close friends, and to strangers as well. So it's that empathy energy coming rarely to the forefront. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it's lovely to hear as well. So Miss Venus, you'll be next. So Maya, the picture, the background doesn't have to be white for your picture, but yes, recent please. Although I feel quite connected to you from, I've read for you quite a few times, so I don't necessarily need the picture, but because it's your first time of having one, if you want to be safe and do that. A recent, definitely, but don't worry about the background. Oh, thank you. Jasmine said that exact thing. And she also says I can definitely tell if someone's lying to me. So this is perfect. So even with not having a recent photograph, I've definitely picked up on you perfectly there. And you love travelling as well. I will accept that, Maya. Maya, you're probably going to be tomorrow anyway, because I've taken so much time. I'm sorry, guys. I've taken so much time with these here. So yeah, we won't make it to you, so don't worry too much, Maya. But it'll be the same time. So the same time tomorrow we will do the same time tomorrow for everyone else. So we'll get through. I think we'll at least get through 3 or 4 more. So we have Miss Venus, Jasmine, Sid, Kira. Kira will try our best to get to you, but if you want to be first tomorrow instead, since it's late for you, then that might work out better for you anyway, Kieran, rather than waiting around. And I will definitely do it tomorrow at 8. I've decided now, because I took so much time. I will definitely do this one tomorrow. So Kieran, you go ahead and go if you know, because it's late for you. I will make sure you're first tomorrow. I've put a note there that you'll be first tomorrow. So so Miss Venus, so we'll do Miss Venus now. Jasmine and Sid. I think we would at least get to those, but Kido will do my best to get up to you as well. So yes, I'm so sorry, guys. Really taking my time today. Ah, this is even worse than Marianne. So sorry, Miss Venus. I decided to just give you huge feet as well. I'm not even gonna show it. It's so bad. Right, okay. So we have Miss Venus. I will get right into yours. Yeah, I'll get the picture up. And so you're very welcome. So don't forget, if you do want a picture sent to you, I know your one guided by universe is a bit bad because I smudged the orange, but if you do want it sent to you, you're very welcome. Let me get Miss Venus up here. Oh, that's so lovely. It's a little video. That's so cute. I love the place as well. Right, okay. So I have ordered other pens. I know my pens are really bad. So Miss Venus, I just want you to know now, your blue is not indigo, it is blue. So I'm going to try to, oh, actually this is supposed to be indigo, but it's going normal blue, so it's okay actually. I think we've solved that. That's great. Very thin pen. Oh no, it's gone indigo. But okay, that's okay. So yeah, I kept meaning to buy new pens and I kept forgetting, and I know these ones are really bad, so something I really needed to invest in for a long time was new pens for the stream. Okay. So Miss Venus, so we do have Miss Venus, so that's very nice. You can kind of see it. Okay, so we have purple, pink, blue, and the metallic colours around. So again, 4 colours. I think everyone has 4 colours today, so that's really nice. So the purple, we have the strong intuition, strong intuitive abilities. We have the spiritual gifts, the deep thinker energy. So whether that is the so really loving to understand how things are done, how things work, delve deeper into things. So these people don't just take the answer, you know, they're not just like, oh yeah, that's how, you know, that's the answer to that. They're like, well, why is that the answer? How does that work? You know, they want to delve deeper into it, which is why it's a very spiritual colour, because we, you know, people don't, us people with purple in our aura, we don't say, yeah, everyone's got a soul, that makes sense. We think, well, what is the soul? What does it mean? Well, you know, what does this mean for us? What's the difference? What's the balance of the mind, body and spirit, you know? We want to delve deeper into the soul, the spirit and all those things, just like we might want to delve deeper into more society at large, where we might, you know, philosophize about things, theorize about things. You know, even purple is a prominent colour in conspiracy theorists' auras as well, because they're people who, they don't just take the answer of what's coming up on the screen in front of them, even if sometimes it might be misguided. Sometimes they're not, as we've seen many times that conspiracy theories have turned out to be true as well. But you know what I'm saying, they don't just take what is shown to them at the forefront. They say, I'm going to do my own investigative journalism on this, I'm going to research myself, I'm going to look at alternative media. You know, it's just that kind of energy of wanting to delve deeper. But I'm just giving an example there of how it doesn't always necessarily mean that you're going to go down the right path, which I do believe Miss Venus is, so don't feel called out, Miss Venus, by me saying this, but I'm just trying to kind of link in how even if people aren't on the spiritual path, they can still have these colours in their aura as well. Maybe, you know, you could even get like purple. I mean, purple does generally have more of the spiritual element to it, and we know that Miss Venus's does because she has the metallic as well, so you can link more than one colour together to create a bigger picture and a bigger story. I do really feel the spiritual with hers because of the metallic as well, even if I didn't know her, but all I'm saying is, you know, people like, for example, maybe like an engineer or someone like that who, you know, they really want to get into the nitty-gritty of how a certain thing works, but maybe they're just super skeptical. So you can have skeptics who come and they can have purple, or they can have yellow, or they can have indigo, or they can even have metallic sometimes. But so it can work in different scenarios is all I'm saying. Can work in philosophy, can work in psychology. Maybe she's super into understanding how the human mind works, you know? So doesn't necessarily have to always be spiritual, but there definitely is at least some draw to a spiritual path here, because there's always intuition with that. It's always like they're being guided by their intuition in some way, because and this tends to lead us to be like a spiritual kind of person, because we're like, well, how do I just know the right way to go? How do I just know what to do? But just trying to give you guys who've already listened to that, already listened to the purple, understand a bit deeper of other ways, other aspects that can come up for people. Not always super spiritual, but we do feel with Miss Venus it is, especially linking it with the metallic she has as well. But yeah, deep thinkers, people who really like to get to the base of how things work, people who are very intuitive, and often really listen to that intuition. So when I'm talking about when you guys come back for readings time and time again, and you notice that there's one or two colours that are always coming up in your aura, even as the other ones change. If you're always getting purple in your aura, then you're probably someone who's continuing to listen to your intuition as well, and understanding it, learning with it, you know, because some people kind of some of these elements are a bit more subconscious. So some people are very intuitive but subconsciously, like people who say like, I just know how to read people, I don't know how, but I just do. Usually they're just really intuitive, or they have a spiritual gift but they don't want to believe that, you know. But when but people who very commonly keep having this colour in their aura, it means they're kind of learning a bit more about themselves. They're learning more and more about their intuition and their spiritual side as they go on and on and on. So even if she was just someone who is a deep thinker and that was all there was to the purple, if she kept having that purple, it's more likely that she's going to progress and progress and progress to where she will have a spiritual awakening. She will, you know, have these certain things. So that's why I always say it's really important to look at which colours you keep getting. But we don't really have any skeptics as even subscribers, not let alone members. So it's not too important to look at that, but if you were someone who wanted to go away and do aura reading for yourself, you know, you'd want to understand these things a bit deeper. You know, why am I getting a super purple aura for this skeptical person? If they keep having that purple again and again and again and again, it's very likely that they will come out of that. They will grow past being skeptical as they learn more and more and more about themselves or spirituality or their own intuition and things like that. So that is purple. The pink. So we have the pink in the aura there. So again, it's the generous person, nurturing. So where I try to give the differences between the pink and the green because they're both love. Nurturing is a huge one with the pink. So there's still love, there's still empathy, but it's more nurturing. There's more nurturing energy with pink. So for example, maybe someone who's like a mother or going to be a mother or kind of something like that, like there's a mother kind of energy with them, they're probably more likely to have pink than green. And that doesn't mean you can't become a mother if you have green, but a lot of the time you'll find that kind of younger people will have green, and then that those same people, as they get older, that they might come to have a bit more of pink, because as they get older, maybe they make a family, and then it's where that very broad love of the green, where it's like, you know, the whole of the earth, society, plants, animals, that kind of love, it might narrow a little bit to where they're still empaths, but they're just a bit more pinpointed on their husband, or their wife, or their children, you know. So you can find, if you had a lot of green in your aura when you were a bit younger, it might become a bit more pink as you get older, and that's just something as well that happens as you head a bit further to maybe having your own child, or maybe honing in on that romantic connection, because let's not forget that, you know, she's still an empath, but maybe when she was like, maybe let's say a teenager, maybe she wasn't or even a child, she probably wasn't focused on having a, you know, long-term committed partner, so maybe her aura was green. But then now it seems more like the aura is telling us she's going to be in a long-term committed relationship. Long-term committed relationship, much more likely to have pink if we keep emanating that energy, if we're really bringing forward that person to us. More likely to have pink than green. You can have both pink and green, of course, but if you're going to have one rather than the other, it's more likely going to be pink. So yeah, generally with the love energies, there isn't too much to say on that, rather than trying to, you know, just let you know the differences a little bit there. So she's still really generous, she's still an empath, but she's more nurturing and more focused on her close relationships as well. So not necessarily the long-term committed connection, if she isn't in it yet. Could be her close friends and family that she's really focused on right now. But yeah, so that's pink, and she has quite a lot of pink. The pink is quite prominent in this aura. But we do also have the blue, which is a little bit less prominent, but all of these three colours, apart from the metallic, they're quite balanced. I would say there's a little bit less blue because it's quite narrow around the outside, but still quite a lot. So, blue. So blue is a calming energy. So it can be that she's a very calm person. She might be a really calm person. She might kind of, you know, speak very slowly and emanate a very calm energy herself. But it might not be that. You know, maybe she doesn't necessarily feel like she's super calm. Maybe, you know, in her own world, in her own mind, maybe she's rushing a lot of the time. Maybe she's super busy a lot of the time. Maybe she feels like her momentum's going quite quickly. She's always moving, always on the move. She's working a lot. She's doing exercising a lot. She's, you know, living her life. But it can sometimes be the energy that she emanates to others. So even if you don't feel super calm within yourself, it could be that you're coming across as very relaxing, very calm to other people. So blue is that kind of energy where people say, you know, I just feel comfortable around you. I just feel really, you know, I can confide in you. I feel like I can tell you things. I feel I've never told anyone this before, but I feel like I can tell you this. You know, it's that really, people feeling very comforted in your presence, feeling very calm in your presence, feeling very relaxed. You know, sometimes our partners can have sleep problems, but as soon as they start sleeping around us, sleeping, you know, in the bed with you or wherever it might be, maybe they fall asleep on the couch when they're with you, and they wouldn't usually do that, you know. It's just a very calming energy. You know, maybe even animals as well can be very calmed around you. Maybe, you know, your friend has a dog and they're like, oh, you know, just watch out because they do bite a little bit, or they're always barking at people, but around you, they just happen not to do that because you have that calming energy. Even if you don't feel it, you come across that way to other people. So yeah, really calming energy is the main thing, but also the people confiding in you as well, feeling like they can trust you, very trusting. So blue is a very trusting colour. Yeah, so blue, and it's quite a nice one. I feel like in these streams, I feel like orange and blue are the ones that kind of come up the least. So, and that's not to say there's any reason for that. It's just, I think it's just happens for some reason. You know, so that's really nice to see some blue coming up for that. And of course we have the metallic around here, very shining out a lot as well from the top there specifically. And I do feel this is more your own. So I know with metallic, a positive thing that we should all take away, if you ever come to a stream and you have metallic in your aura, please take away that there is a possibility for you to have physical material abundance. Always take that away and pray for that, you know. But with this specifically, with Mary-Ann, where I felt like it was spiritual protection and guides being close, here I feel more it's her own spiritual energy emanating. So it's kind of like she's leveling up a little bit. She might be reaching, really having her antenna out, you know, to where I mean, I know we've spoken about this anyway, so it just resonates to me, I suppose. But you know, you're connecting with a lot of different um, beings in different realms and things like that. So it's not like some of us where maybe we're just working with our set guides at the moment, and that's why you know, it might come up like specific guides. With you, it feels more like maybe you're reaching out to a plethora of different realms, and you know, you could really tap into anything and anyone in a positive sense. But yeah, like that, rather than a specific guide coming through or it just being about protection, feels a little bit like your own spiritual energy, really a beacon, you know. So that's really nice. And we don't have any murky energy or anything in the auras right now that I've seen yet, so that's really nice as well to take note of as well, that you know, sometimes your aura can be a bit murky or can have a block in it, and it's quite nice to see that that hasn't happened today yet. So we do have Jasmine next, so I'll just write that down, but I will just read the comments. Oh yeah, Maya, I will accept you on TikTok. I'll do that now so I don't forget. Oh. I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe, oh wait, there's requests. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I was looking in the wrong place. So... okay, sorry, so reading comments. Blue flame. Deep thinker, yes. You feel comments from me right now? I hope so. Yeah, so that party being recent as well really resonates with the blue being at the forefront right now as well, because I know, you know, with people who are going through a lot of spiritual changes or even emotional changes, but particularly in this community, I would say spiritual changes quite often. There probably has been times where you've had colours in your aura that we haven't seen because we haven't always done streams all of the time. But it's interesting to see the party, if the party was recently, and then the blue was at the forefront very recently, because I don't think you've had blue in your aura at least very often that I've picked up. I think it tends to be with you. I think it's more, I know purple and metallic come up very much with you, and I think pink, or at least one of the love colours, would usually come up. You're very welcome. Yes, that's really great, and it is nice to have the kind of what would I call it? Affirmation, confirmation, when you guys, you know, say how it resonates. So Jasmine, so do we have Jasmine? Jasmine, are you here? So do we have Jasmine or Sid? So let's see, we have 40 minutes. Many people at the party, and the doggy was only following me around and laying next to me. That's really cute. Really cute. Jasmine, yes, okay. So it's Jasmine now. So, Sid, you will be next. I'm sure we'll get to you. So it's Jasmine, Sid, Kira, hopefully Kieran if we can get to you. But, Kieran, you're pretty close to the end. I don't think we're going to get there, unfortunately. We have Jasmine, Sid, Kira, and then you. I'm hoping we'll at least get through Sid and Kira after Jasmine, but I can't really say. Hopefully. Yeah, I don't want to promise anything, but I did say that I'm going to do this. I'm going to repeat the stream again the same time tomorrow. So I'm going to repeat it at the same time tomorrow, and you will be prioritized, Kieran. So you will be prioritized as first. So it'll be you, then Maya, then Pooja tomorrow. Because I don't think that we're going to get through everyone. I just don't think we will. So yeah, if you want to just yeah, if you need to sleep or whatever it is, you know, because it's late for you, yeah, we will do you first tomorrow, so it's not as bad. Because I took my time. I did not realize how much I took my time at the beginning. Sid just got back, so, and Kira and Maya, I'm not 100%. So we'll, Kira and Maya, are you still here? I think Maya was a moment ago. Okay, so this is Jasmine. So we have Jasmine there. So we have pink in the centre, purple and red. Do have a little bit of murkiness in the centre there, and we do have some metallic as well. So although a little bit of murkiness, but mostly nice and vibrant, and some metallic, so that's always nice. So the centre, so we have that love energy, so again nurturing, generous and pathetic, but also that more pinpointed on the close friends and family, the romantic partner, and that kind of prediction that she will end up in a long-term committed relationship. Long-term committed relationship, and the pink is quite prominent at the moment, so that's quite nice. We have the purple, which is the spiritual, more intuitive kind of side. Like I did say earlier, there can be like a deep thinker, kind of wanting to understand how things work, get to the nitty-gritty of things and kind of dissect things a little bit. So it can be an interest in psychology as well, understanding how people work, understanding what motivates people and things, or understanding how different things work, philosophy as well, things like that. But I do particularly feel very spiritual with Jasmine's one, very tuning in a little bit more, learning a little bit more about herself spiritually, or about, like this mediumship kind of side of things as well. I do really feel like it's quite spiritual based on Jasmine's side, really wanting to understand a bit more about spirituality, delve deeper into her own spirituality, and just learn more. So it could be, picking up different divinations, connecting with different types of spirit guides, learning how to connect with different types of spirit guides, and learning about all different types of divinations, whether that's, on the psychic side or mediumship side or anything like that. Dream, understanding dreams as well is something that comes up in streams. Questions from Jasmine, understanding her dreams as well, so that's always one, with purple as well. People who, so deep thinkers, the intuition, spiritual gifts. So when I'm saying spirituality, when I'm referring to purple, I am specifically talking about like not just the interest in spirituality, not just wanting to delve into it, but also this kind of more heightened energy of their own spiritual gifts as well. So if you're someone who continues to have purple in the aura as you keep having readings, you may be being pushed into spiritual work. You might be a light worker or something like that, but you sorry, but you may but it's also about your own spiritual gifts and abilities, specifically. So not just an interest in spirituality, but having your own spiritual gifts and abilities to uncover, or maybe, in this case you are uncovering them, but you definitely do have your own gifts. It's not just, especially when purple's a colour that keeps coming up, it's not just an interest in spirituality when it's closely spiritually linked. It is more about actually having your own spiritual gifts. So yes, actually having your own spiritual gifts. I think that's everything we were saying about purple. Yeah. But red. So this is the first time that red has come up on a stream. So that's quite nice, and I do think it's quite common with Jasmine. I don't know if it's every time, but it is quite common. It's that, so connection to physical life path comes up in red. So so it can be being really closely connected to your own physical goals. So you might be really focused on your physical goals. Your physical goals might, like physical life path, physical goals might be at the forefront at the moment. There can be connection. So it's kind of like enjoying the pleasures of life. So it's quite nice when we balance the I mean, everything's here really. This is quite like, I know we have some murky energy. We do have some block going on in some way, but if you look at these colours, pink, purple, red, they're actually really, really good colours, because you have the pink is the emotional, the purple is the spiritual, and the red is the physical. So it's, you know, that mind, body, spirit, you know, mind, body, spirit, it's all within that. So it's really nice balance of colours to have. If you are only going to have 3 colours in your aura, it's probably quite a nice balance to have. But yeah, so the red's very physical life path. So connection to your physical wants, desires, needs, goals, you know, things like that. Although red can come up more in the aura when there is kind of, you know, if you think about, I know I say don't always link them directly to the chakras, but if you think very much about the red chakra, the root chakra, it is very much kind of about that connection to the more primitive senses and survival. Although that can come up with red, there can be kind of like, you know, when we're kind of being pushed a little bit more to focus on our physical, like our, not survival as such, because we're not like in the wild, but you know what I mean, like we're being pushed to focus a little bit more on the physical life path, on you know, money or the home or anything like that. It can come up a bit more when we are pushed into that area, but it comes up in a positive way mostly, unless it was really murky, unless it was, you know, there was a lot of murkiness going on in there, then it generally does tend to come up in a positive way, because within red there's a lot of warrior energy. Warrior energy really comes up with people with a lot of red in their aura. So it's not to be confused with anger, because anger does come up in red, but it's murky red. So murky red is like anger or things like that, like emotional, unhealed emotional things tend to be murky red. But this is a nicer red. So although there might be a push to the physical side of things, it's that warrior energy, that ability to overcome, or that ability to manifest, or that ability to shift onto that more positive path, that drive, determination, ability that you probably do have to do that, or that is at least available within you to do that. So quite nice colours in that balance between mind, body and spirit, but just the bit of murkiness going on there. So this murkiness in the aura, I do feel like it's within the pink and the purple a little bit more. Murkiness in the purple, so I did just see your comments being pushed to focus more on the physical path right now. Sometimes murkiness can come up in the purple when that's the case. So if we're, it can be a little bit like, if it is a case of you're actually being more pushed, and that's why this is coming up, not just because of your own manifesting, but because you're being a bit more pushed, you might just naturally get a bit more of a block in the spiritual side if you're not necessarily if you're just putting it on hold, because you're very welcome to do that. You're not going to be like spiritually you know, penalized for putting any spiritual path on hold, but it's more about that, you know, is the part becoming a bit out of balance, is the kind of like a disconnect in kind of, I don't know, utilising your own spiritual gifts, or do you feel not as tapped into your own spiritual gifts? If you're being pushed more to the physical, you could feel like you're being thrown a bit more out of the spiritual, you know. If you feel like there might be a little bit of a block in your spiritual gifts, or kind of like yeah, like you're kind of almost being pushed out of that spiritual path a little bit, could come like that, or just generally a bit of a block in your intuition. It could be as simple as a block in your intuition. If you feel like maybe you're not intuitively, you're not following your intuition as close because the sense is dampened or something like that, or you feel like maybe I mean, I wouldn't say that you're disconnected from your guides because you have the metallic there, but it could be that there's one guide or one specific kind of spiritual energy, you know. Because of the metallic, I don't feel like you're being like you're fully blocked in any way, but it could be more about the specifics. So is there a specific spiritual ability or a specific guide or a specific part, you know, aspect? Like, is it the intuition? Is it something? Is there a specific thing within the spiritual realm that you feel you're not fully tapping into right now? You know, an aspect of it, not like the whole entirety of your spiritual life, but some element of it. There might be a bit of a block there, but it does tend to touch a bit. Well, it touches a little bit more the murkiness on the pink. Now, sometimes murky pink can be as simple as you've been a bit immature, or you've been a bit naive, or you've been a bit immature, a bit naive, or a bit how can I say like taken for a ride a little bit in some way, you know, because we are seeing that she has a lot of intuition and she is an intuitive person, but has someone kind of taken your vulnerability for granted a little bit? Sorry, have you felt a little bit vulnerable and felt like it's been, yeah, vulnerability being taken for granted? I think that's what I mean to say. Or I would more so maybe say taken for granted, and it's made you feel a bit lesser within yourself, like made you feel a bit naive, like maybe someone's kind of I don't know, I can't describe like what I'm trying to say. I can't really get it across enough here, but yeah, a situation, so like naivety, vulnerability a little bit can come up with it, but I don't know if I'm really resonating with vulnerability because of the warrior energy in the red. So it's kind of like, you know, I don't know if vulnerability is maybe the right word to say, or if that was the right train of thought to go down with that side of it, but taking you for granted a little bit maybe, or skewing your senses a little bit or something, but particularly some kind of immaturity or naivety or something in some situation going on a little bit with murkiness in the pink. It can sometimes be that if it's more about you personally, but if it's about other people or connections, you know, not just you, but how you're connecting with others, because it's all about our own internal energy, but our how we connect with others as well, where it's like in our connections, emotional things and things like that, or spiritual. So it can be a block on the love path as well, so where we're seeing that or with close connections, close relationships. So if we've had some kind of issue within a close relationship, like a family member or the romantic partner, it can simply be that. It doesn't always mean that there's any kind of immaturity or anything going on. It can be that sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, so like a block in the love path, or a relationship path at least, you know, a loving relationship, even if it's like a close friends or family, can be that. But yeah, something like that. Or if someone's tried to take you for a fool. That's what I was trying to say. When I was trying to think of what I'm really trying to get across with someone with the vulnerable aspect. So someone trying to take you for a fool. So where naivety is implying that you're actually naive or that you're actually immature, it could be someone trying to take you for a fool. So trying to deceive you or trying to pull one over on you, and that's kind of caused a bit of a block in your own emotions, because there's been someone's attempted to do that. Someone's tried to, like, you know, upset you, like kind of take you down a notch or two, that kind of energy. So I hope that makes sense. That's kind of what I was trying to express with the vulnerability message. But we do have the guides there, so I do specifically feel these actually as guides, and the guide connection where I'm seeing the flex of metallic there as well. But always remember as well, just as a nice positive note, as a little nice you know, a bit of hope for us when we get our metallic and our guides come in and things like that, that can mean that physical abundance is available to us as well, physical material abundance. So when you have metallic, even if it's guides, even if there's protection, even if, you know, it's your own spiritual gifts heightening, there's still a possibility of material abundance as well on the path at some point, especially if it keeps coming up that you're getting metallic. So yeah, so that was Jasmine. And Jasmine says, yeah, the red doesn't come up all the time, but from time to time. This is the biggest it's been. Okay. I'm being pushed to focus on the physical path. Yeah, so that might be why it's a bit bigger now. Yeah. So that was Jasmine. So I think... So do we have Sid still? So Sid and Kira. I have seen that Kira was the last person to comment, so I assume Kira is still here. But let's just see, since Sid was first, let's just see if Sid is still here. We might... I'll be happy when the material abundance manifests. Yes. Absolutely, I do agree. Sid, okay, so we do have Sid here, okay? So we'll do Sid. We'll try our best to get to Kira as well. But guys, so we did Miss Venus, we did Marianne, Guided by Universe, and Jasmine. And we're doing Sid now. So, yeah, I'm definitely out of touch because I've only managed to do 5. And, yeah, there's 4 left. So... Kieran, you are on the list. You're on the list, but what I'm saying is I only have 15, just over 15 minutes now, so I don't think we're going to get to you because it's Sid and then Kira and then you. So you're already on the list. You've always been on the list. It's just that a lot of people were in before you. So it's Sid, Kira, Maya. I don't think we're going to get to you or Maya. I don't even know if we'll get to Kira, to be honest. But we will get through Sid. So Kira, Kieran, Maya, and Pooja, you will most likely be tomorrow. Kira, if we can get to you, we will. But you will most likely be tomorrow. So yeah, there's 4 of you. So, you know, I am really sorry. But it just so happens, you know, people who come in at the beginning get done quicker. So so I have decided that I will be jumping back on tomorrow. Let me just make sure I can definitely do that before I'm like absolutely promising that. Yes, I can definitely do that. I can definitely do that. Okay, so so you can definitely come on tomorrow. So I'll be on tomorrow at probably the same time as I was on today. And Kira, if we get through you, then that's great. But if we don't, then it will be Kira, Kieran, Maya, and Pooja that are prioritised for tomorrow. So even if other members who weren't in today at all come in, Kira, Kieran, Maya, and Pooja will be prioritised. You will definitely get your readings tomorrow. So hopefully you can come in. But I can still do timestamps for either of you guys if you can't make it tomorrow since you waited on today's stream. So do let me know if you will be needing a timestamp and stuff, but let me know off stream, please. So yes, let's get to Sid, so we can at least get one more done today. Yeah, Kieran, I already have notes for you, so don't worry about messaging me off stream. I already have note for you, Kieran, to timestamp, so don't worry. You will definitely be done tomorrow, Kieran. Okay, Sid. So we have Sid. There we go. So we have yellow, and just for reference, if you do ask for oh yeah, I should note that down just in case I forget myself. For Miss Venus and Sid, just in case you do want the just in case you do want the picture sent to you. Don't feel obliged to have the picture sent. If you're happy with just the stream, then that's fine. But if you send them, you'll get the article as well, so you can refer back to the picture if you want to. But just wanted to know because I need my new pens to come. I'm using a kind of more indigo-ish type colour for the blue, so just so you know. I've put a little, where have I done a little note there? That's blue and not indigo. So we do have yellow, blue and pink for Sid, and we do have a bit, if you can see at the top, a bit of metallic and also a guide there. I think you know who that is. But yes, so yellow in the centre. So again, we have, so this is someone who is very connected to their inner child. They might be quite light-hearted, quite playful, quite, you know, they might like to joke around, or they might enjoy comedies, they might enjoy being made to laugh, you know. Intelligent, someone who's intelligent, and they kind of enjoy to keep learning, so they don't feel like learning stops as soon as I finish school, or as soon as I, you know, finish, you know, college or university or whatever it might be. They don't feel like learning stopped then, even if they only learn now from reading books or watching videos or teaching themselves things like how to learn an instrument or how to learn a language. You know, it doesn't have to be you know, any really intense, you know, like physics, or, you know, it doesn't have to be anything like that. Maybe they just enjoy learning the lessons of life. They enjoy learning about spirituality. They enjoy, you know, anything like that. It doesn't have to be intense. It's not anything like, it doesn't mean you're a genius or a mastermind, or that you have to aspire to be that. It just means that you're happy, that you know, you're still learning things, you're still growing. It's really nice, you know. So yeah, there's some kind of intelligence going on there, some kind of, like, you know, cleverness in some way, and yeah, tapping into the inner child, being very humorous, and that possibility of spiritual awakening, which, whether you've had one before or not, maybe you're due more awakenings, maybe you're due more enlightenment, epiphanies, things like that. Yeah, so it's really nice. A really nice colour, and it's really nice for, especially for people who don't feel like they're too far along the spiritual path yet, or they feel like they've got a long way to go. It can be a really nice support, because it's like, okay, you know, you don't have the most, you know, your aura isn't completely purple and, you know, gold and silver, but you've definitely got the potential. You've definitely at least have potential, you know, no matter how far you have or have not come yet, you definitely have potential to progress even further. So it's really great, really nice support for the spiritual path. Even though we do have metallic with Sid, and we do have the guide there anyway, but even if we didn't have that, we're still seeing the potential and that positive spiritual energy. But then we have the blue. So we are 2 people on stream with blue today. We're being things are changing, and we're being blessed with the blue aura people today. So the blue aura people are a blessing because they make us feel calm, they make us feel relaxed, we feel like we can trust them, we feel comforted, calm in their energy, that we trust them, we want to open up to them. And yeah, they might be a shoulder to cry on as well. I forgot to say that for Miss Venus's one. They might be someone who, yeah, you might be the shoulder to cry on for your friends, your family, things like that. Even sometimes, unfortunately, blue aura people sometimes find that they they don't really find people as trusting as them, or they don't find people that they might not be able to be the shoulder, you know, if they need a shoulder to cry on, they might not as readily find someone as people might find them, unfortunately. There's downsides to some of the positive traits that we have sometimes, you know. But that's not always the case. Maybe Sid has someone whose shoulder they can always cry on, sorry. You know. But yeah, it can go that way. It can go that way. When you're a really trusting person, people really confide in you. It can often be that you don't always find that yourself all the time. But yeah, very trusting person, very, very trustworthy person, very calming. So you might be like, you might actually feel like you are very calm, you're a very calm person, but maybe you don't. Maybe you feel like I stress a lot, I overthink and things like that. Sometimes it's more about how people perceive you. So people perceive you as being quite calm, or or you just make them feel calm. You know, maybe they even see that you stress a little bit, but for some reason they feel relaxed in your presence. Maybe you overthink and overstress for yourself, but you have all the time in the world and the patience for other people, you know? So it can be like that. People can see you stress about your own things, but when it comes to them, you have all this time in the world, all this energy, and you're so calm. Then you relax, you know? When you're giving advice, when you're being that friend, you know? So it's a really nice... Blue aura people are very nice to be around. It's a very kind of, you know... some of the traits are very, like, they're really good for you personally. Like, if you have a lot of red and metallic, maybe you're super connected to your physical path and you have loads of money, that's really good for you. You know, maybe if you have a lot of purple and you're super, you know, elated in your spiritual journey, that's really good for you. But blue aura people are particularly really nice for other people to be around. They're like a gift to other people, so that's quite nice. We have the pink as well, so that's another one that is really nice for other people to be around. So because it's that generosity, empathy, compassion, nurturing energy, so they can really nurture you as well. You know, very supporting, very encouraging, very kind. So it's another one of those energies that are really nice for other people. Oh, I forgot to say, this is only just coming to my mind now, we've had some other yellow people, but people with yellow in the aura, other people often find them very attractive as well. So it can manifest in different ways. It doesn't always mean people find you physically attractive. It can sometimes be that you're just you have a magnetic energy. People just feel drawn to you, even if it's platonic. It can be a lot of like friends feel drawn to you, or just people in general platonically. But it can also mean that you're a little bit attractive. People quite like the way you look as well. So there can be two sides of that as well. But the pink energy, so that more pinpointed, loving your close friends, family, and your partner kind of energy, you know, it's that one, the closer love. So you're still an empath, you still have generous, loving energy, but yeah, generally tends to be a bit more pinpointed to the people who you care about. Not necessarily like, you might not, maybe you're a bit more too focused on your own life path to, you know, be volunteering at a homeless shelter, or you know, looking after loads of rescue dogs, you know, because it's nice. You probably do have the empathy to do that, but it could just be the focus of your life path takes you a little bit away from that. So maybe you know, sometimes for those people, the pink people, they just only have the time for their close friends and family. It can sometimes be that, you know, maybe they, at a different time in their life, they would have had both pink and green, but now they just don't have that time. They don't have the time for, you know, to, I don't know, feed every stray cat that they come across, and, you know, all of these things. They might just be super focused on their own life. It's not always a bad thing, just to minimise that focus to just your few close friends and family and give more time to them, you know? So that can be nice as well. But yeah, there is a strong potential of ending up in a long-term committed relationship with that colour in the aura. But then also she has the metallic. So she has the metallic at the top. Sorry, I'm so sorry, Sid. I'm so sorry. We only had females on the stream, and I'm just used to saying it by this point of the stream, so I'm so sorry. They only have metallic here. They only have metallic on the top of that aura, and they have the guide as well. So the metallic at the top, we can if we want to leave that open to interpretation a little bit, where we're saying you know, I do feel you have spiritual protection, but we have a guide specifically there. We have N there specifically, so we could say the protection and the guide is there from N, and maybe we can hope and pray that this metallic is more about the physical abundance. So, you know, physical abundance is available to you. So, yeah, sorry, I just have something in my eye, but physical abundance is available to you. It's quite likely, especially if you continue to always have metallic in the aura, then it's more likely that material abundance will be available to you. So you might indulge in those really nice pleasures of life, you know. But yeah, I do feel this is N specifically coming through, and that doesn't mean that your other guides aren't there. You know, maybe that is why there's more metallic, because the other guides and spirit team are there. But I just feel N strongly there, you know. So I do think that's where that is coming through. Yeah, so that was Sid as well. You love laughing? Yeah, I can feel that. You feel like you stress and overthink a lot about your stuff, but you're calm when others come to you with their problems. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense with blue. Unfortunately for blue people, it can be that way. And thank you as well. I'm glad that you do understand, because I feel like I go through phases. Like sometimes I do so well. I do so well at it. And then other times I'm just like, damn it. Need to break the habit of it, I think. Just really need to break the habit of saying that to you. But yeah, I think we're all kind of really wanting. I feel like we're all going through a bit of a dip in our material abundance lately. You know, some more than others, unfortunately, and I pray for those people. But I do feel like we're all going through it a little bit. So, you know, probably another abundance spell is due very, very soon, I would say. But yes, so that's amazing. So really glad to be able to finish with you there, Sid. So we got through 5 people. 4 people we did not get through, unfortunately, and I do greatly apologise for that. And that was totally my fault. It wasn't even about the stream being busy today. I don't know how I only did 2 in the first 55 minutes. That is just so crazy. I don't know how it took me that long. But, okay. So, Pooja, Kira, Kieran and Maya will all be prioritised on the next stream. They will definitely get a reading, even if it is time-stamped. So yeah, even if you don't jump on tomorrow, if you forget or you can't make it, you will definitely be time-stamped tomorrow. I'm putting a note to timestamp any of those. So I might even, I won't begin with the timestamp. What I will do is I will only allow 3 or 4 people on before them, and I will not take any more, so we can definitely get... I mean, I don't have a 2-hour time limit tomorrow. I do have longer tomorrow, so I'll start a little bit earlier than today. I'm supposed to start at 8 today, and I did delay it a little bit, so again, that's my fault. But I will start earlier tomorrow, and I will only take a few at the beginning. So I can definitely time for those guys who were left today, so they will definitely get a stream. I'll leave this list here on my desk. So yes, love, light and blessings to each of you. I really hope to see you soon, especially tomorrow if you can make it. Pooja, Kieran, Kira and Maya. So yeah, I hope I do catch you. I will timestamp if I don't, but I hope I do catch you. So yes, love, light and blessings to each of you. So we'll be doing another aura tomorrow. Yeah, so I think that's it for now. If I can tomorrow, I will. No, in fact, I'm not going to promise anything too much. Well, it was going to be Crystal Ball tomorrow, but I was going to do Crystal Ball tomorrow, but let me sort out. So I have I don't know. I just don't want to leave you guys waiting too long when you waited today. That's all. So I was going to do Crystal Ball tomorrow at 8, but now I'm thinking I should do Aura because you guys have waited. So it's kind of like that. Let me see. Because the next time I have availability to do a late stream will be Tuesday evening, which is in just under a week. So I'm wondering whether I should... Well, maybe I'll do Crystal Ball tomorrow and do Aura on Tuesday. But I just don't want to leave you guys waiting too long, that's all. So, yeah. What, are you saying yes please to doing Crystal Ball tomorrow? I'll do a poll. In fact, I would just ask, is Maya or Kieran still here? What would you guys, if either Maya or Kieran are still here, can you also let me know? Would you prefer Crystal Ball tomorrow and the next Aura to be on Tuesday? Or would you prefer the Aura tomorrow and the Crystal Ball on Tuesday? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, okay. So maybe I'll do that then. Yeah, maybe I'll do that then. Okay. I really appreciate you hanging about as well. Really appreciate that you guys were jumped on and everything like that, because some of you I don't get to see that much, so I do really regret that I couldn't get through everybody else, but I really will have to jump off now. So, love, light and blessings to each of you. Maybe we're decided on Crystal Ball tomorrow then. Love, light and blessings to each of you. I really hope to see you soon. Or Tuesday, Crystal Ball tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, Kira, since you waited till the very end, you can have the say. So yes, okay, we will do that. We will do that. But so I'll make sure I keep the list of you four then for Tuesday. So love, light and blessings. Really hope to see you soon. So it will be a similar time, Kira. So it will be the time this stream started, which is 8:30 GMT, or it might be a little bit early, so it might be 8 GMT. So yes, see you tomorrow then for Crystal Ball. Love, light and blessings.